Welcome back to the SLOPAR Boys YouTube channel. My name is George.
I'm Isaac.
And it's another cold day here in New England. It's about 29 degrees and we're working on our cars. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, Tristan.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Well, are we done with this?
Yeah, we're
so
all
what
set.
did we just do?
So we just finished putting on a new set of LED headlights and fog lights for the Durango because the OEM ones are terrible at night. So hopefully this will help in the wintertime around New England.
George got the snow rubs on right now.
Yeah, we got the snow tires on, even though it hasn't snowed at all.
Yeah.
Car's an absolute mess.
Truck's clean. Thank you, Tristan, for the Christmas present. Woohoo! We're gonna toss this bad Larry on there today. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do an install of the S&B intake for the 2019 Ram 1500. We'll do a before and after clip of it. We're gonna go do that one right now. Just need Mr. George here to move the Durango, and then we're gonna get the camera set up and off we go. We're gonna toss a GoPro inside the engine bay, just see if we can get a engine bay before and after. We'll do a little bit of a recording inside the truck. We're gonna try and do this whole video pretty much only on an iPhone, but for now I forgot my keys in the house, so I'm gonna go get them and then we'll give you guys a little bit of a preview. We did a single resonator delete on the truck. See if I can grab that for you. There it is, all rusty. We're gonna be tossing a cutout in there. We still got the rear resonators on the truck. There they are. We'll have that exhaust video out for you soon, but I'm gonna go grab the keys. We'll give it a start up, we'll go for a run, and we'll come back and toss the intake in. Those of you who are watching this one are getting it first, but a super overnight cold start. Flowmaster Super 10 with a single resonator delete. We're gonna do a video on this soon. You guys ready to go?
Let's get it.
And in we go. We haven't opened this yet, so this is a true unboxing with a Phillips head screwdriver to cut the tape. Whatever works, right? All right. Intake's done. Mint. So, looks like we got gasket and the cover. A little bit of tubing here. And we've got the actual intake box with the filter inside. It's a big filter. Another gasket. Some clamps. Another little piece of tubing. This is what I was telling you about, George. This is the cover that goes on the side of the intake. So if you want to add a little bit more airflow, so on track days, we'll pop this cover off. That way the intake can suck in a little bit more air. Another piece of tubing. And the final one that goes into the throttle body. And no instructions that I could see, unless they are in here, which they are.
Is it a
Looks
QR?
like it's a QR code, so we'll scan that, and then I've got a sticker that we're probably not going to use, but
Hey, that adds 10 horsepower.
of course, every pony counts. Every pony counts. So we'll pop this open. We'll scan the QR code. Yeah. And we'll get this going. According to the website here, we're going to need a ratchet with an extension, 8mm, 10mm, 11mm, 13mm socket, a panel popper, crescent wrench, Phillips and a flathead, scissors, and they put a panel popper a second time, so you're going to need two of them apparently. And it says it's going to take an hour to install, so we'll see if it actually takes an hour to install this thing. Step one of the install is going to be to disconnect the battery, which we already did. And then step two is saying that we got to remove this PCV hose off of the tubing here, and see if I can figure out how to do this. Probably wouldn't recommend doing this in 30-degree weather, but I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's for the content. It's fine.
It's all for the channel. We do this for you guys. Oh yeah, there she goes. Look at that. Woohoo! Pull it away. So if you want to look at it right here, so this kind of pushes upwards. And when you push up on it, it should just pop right out. Takes a little bit of force, but it definitely comes out. All right, what's the next step?
Unplug it.
And the next step's going to be to unclip the sensor here. Slow and steady. You don't want to break nothing. There we go. Nice and easy. And we'll leave that right here. Beautiful. All right, so the next step, you're gonna need an 8mm socket, and we're just gonna loosen up the hose clamp here. That way we can pop the tubing off of the throttle body. Beautiful. Look at that bad Larry, nice and clean. All right, now we'll use that same 8mm socket. We'll loosen up this hose clamp. That way we can pop off the rest of the intake tubing here. I need to just loosen it up just a smidge more. Come on. Off you come. Woohoo! All right. After you pull off the intake tubing, the instructions say that we're going to cup up and underneath the wheel well liner here, and right here are two more 8mm screws. We'll go ahead and remove. That way we can get access to the intake box. Yeah, just lift it off. Oh yeah, here we go. Does take quite a bit of force to get this thing out. Woo, there we go. After you pop the intake box off, there's going to be 5 clips that are attaching these wire harnesses here. There's 4 that are on the wiring harnesses, and then there's one on one of the AC lines that we have to pop off. We'll see if we can get that one done real quick here. Without messing anything up. Might need the auto body expert to do this one. Oh, maybe not. There's one. Looks like the other one is up and underneath here. And the other one's right up under here. Two. And then 3. Third one's right here. Pop these out. Three. This one's going to be the 4th one. 4. That one broke. And then the 5th one looks like this one right here. Yeah, attached to the AC condenser line. And that's it. Next, we're gonna need this 13 millimeter here, and we're gonna take off the 4 bolts that are securing the tray bracket here. It's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we'll fast forward through that and we'll be right back. And this one is the last one. So the instructions say to hang on to these because we're going to be reusing them. We will pop this lovely little tray out. Here we go. Alright, so the next 2 steps are going to be, we're going to toss this gasket on here. The S&B side is going to face inside the intake box. I'll pop this on. And then we're also inside the bag here that came with the hose clamps. There's a little baggie, and inside of it, it had 3 grommets. One of them that looked different from the other 2. And you pop those 2 in here and here. The next step is going to be, we're going to prop this up on its side. We're going to pop the S&B cover in here. This is the one that we might take out during track days. We'll see. If it's going to increase the intake temps, then we probably won't, because we want to keep them as cool as possible, but we'll play around with it, see how it does. Pop this in there. Doesn't seem like it fits very well. It is definitely in there though. Yeah, it's in. We'll put this aside, and then the next steps, we're going to take the intake tube, and then this is for the PCV valve. So the instructions say to screw this in until it's hand tight, and then once it's hand tight, it says to go another 1 to 2 complete turns with it, with a crescent wrench. Do that. Beautiful. And then I seem to have lost the grommet. There it is, inside the box. We're going to grab the grommet for the intake temperature sensor, and this lines up. It's got a little tab here that lines up in the hole. So we'll toss that in. Beautiful.
8. Shut
Maybe
guy.
you should invest. Shot guy.
Shut guy.
You do it then, George, Mr. I'm 8 feet tall.
Yeah, well, it's cold, so.
Can't do that. I'll mess
It's
up the video.
cold. All right, we're gonna grab the 8mm socket. We probably should have put a towel inside the throttle body, but I mean, it's not windy out. There's no real dust flying around, so not too worried about it. But we're gonna toss the little coupler here over the throttle body. Nice and easy. We'll grab the first hose clamp. Just gently slide that on there. Beautiful. All right. So per the instructions, we want to tighten this one up, and then the one that's going to go on the top of the coupler, we're going to just kind of place on there and leave it loose. But we definitely want this one to be tight. We don't want any gaps at all. But then again, it also says not to over tighten it. We're going to have to pull this thing apart again. Bigger throttle body.
Oh, yeah. My lips are really numb.
All right, that one's on, and we'll just slip this one on. Just leave it sitting over. Beautiful. All right, now we're gonna come over here. What was the next one, Tristan?
Install a snorkel tube seal,
Which is?
letter D, onto the snorkel tube C, and press the other plastic rivets V to secure.
So in case you're wondering, you don't have to look at the instructions. You just have somebody read you the instructions and hope you're doing it right.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, anytime.
And I like how in the instructions it says that everything is labeled. These look like it's going to be for this. So we'll leave these out. Put that down. Here we go. More parts. Woo-hoo. Try and keep a few workspace. What the hell am I attaching where?
Get that one. That's going to go here.
Ah, yes. And then the flips, right? So we'll line this up with the holes over here. Anybody can do this. Simple enough, right? The instructions aren't too bad. They come in color. That's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is there another piece that goes to this?
Isn't it ups?
That's it, huh? Those are the only two? Here's the third one. Oh. Maybe it just came with an extra then.
No, they clip onto each other. It's going to be like
From the inside.
the sides.
Yep. Alright, so we'll pop this in there. Are you sure that this is for this? I don't know about this. Maybe so. Okay. Yeah, why don't we show that? Let me see one more of those, pal. So it comes with 4 of these. And these are going to attach to each other from the inside and the outside. And they're going to lock in together like that. I just put one in there. And the question is... Alright, so these take quite a bit of force to actually get on. But once you do get them on, they kind of attach to each other. It's a bit of a pain. But we're just going to slip this over that little square inlet there. And then there's 2 sides to this. There's the side with nothing on it. And then on this side, it's got some letters for a part number. We're going to put it in like this. See if I can't get this in here. Beautiful. That is in there like that. We're going to move on to the next step. Alright, we are going to pop this bad Larry in here. See if we can't kind of manipulate the harness. And then it says to tilt this up. Yeah, look at that, right in there. And we'll align this with the holes in the fender liner, which are right there. Beautiful. So after you slide the main ear box in, we're going to go in the kit here. We're going to set up these 4 bolts with the lock washer and then the washer. Lock washer. Beautiful. That comes with 6 of these. You can't really miss them. Use our handy dandy bucket. And we will just hand tighten these to that little plenum that goes from the factory intake location. Alright, so I stand corrected. Upon Tristan rereading the directions, it specifically says to over tighten them. Just kidding, don't over tighten them. Just tighten them up. We're not going to mess with them anymore after this. They're a little difficult to get going, but once you do get them going, they're fairly easy afterwards. We're just finishing the 3rd one. And then the 4th. Probably wouldn't recommend using power tools for this. Just, you know, really get in there and use some elbow grease. All right, move on to the next step. All right, so we're gonna grab that 13, I can't read. I don't know, it's probably a 13. And these are the bolts that we used from the, I don't know what it's called, bracket, the factory box. Who needs it anyway? So the instructions say to place these in there and not to tighten them up just yet, because the two that we weren't sure about for the fender liner are definitely going to get used again. That one's in. It's nice that they gave you the little rubber to go around this. It'll kind of seal up, no water coming in. All right, so we were mistaken. We're not going to use these. Here, we're going to use these. Which this ought to be a pain in the balls, but that's all right. We'll pop this out. Do you want to hold that, line that up for me there, Phil?
I'm pushing the bolts down. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the right side one. Okay. Ready for the left side?
Hold on, let me pop this up in there. We'll do this.
You got the washer?
Is the hole lined up?
Yeah, you got the washer.
Hold on. Where's the hole? There it is.
Yep, straight up.
Straight up, he says. Easier said than done when you can't see it. Woo! All right, and we'll grab another washer and a lock nut. Thank you, Tristan. I can pop this one out. Push down on this one for me. Beautiful. Thank you. Always thank your friends, because they don't have to help you. That one lined up. Completely missed. I might have tightened that top in. Straight up. 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
There we go. So from the top side here, we're just gonna attach the washer and the lock nut, and then we'll just have to tighten it up. Some things are easier to do when not recording. So we just tightened up the two that attach to the fender liner. You need a wrench, hold it from one side, and on the other side it's an 11 millimeters. We'll tighten up these two bad Larrys here. One, and then the second one is down here. Mint. All right, on to the next step. So this was an earlier step that we kind of forgot to do, but it just has to kind of put this in, tighten it ever so slightly here. Beautiful. So you can see it inside of there. Intake air temperature sensor. And we will pop this thing on here. Maybe we should invest in like a step. Pop this in here. It's a nice little fit right there. We need the 8mm ratchet. That's supposed to go on this here. We start a pit crew at this rate. Alright, and then I take it. After that, we're going to clip in the intake sensor like so. Toss on the PCV. Push up on the connector here. Ah, there it is. That's a satisfying sound. Click. All right, so we kind of skipped ahead a couple steps by clicking in that PCV fitting and putting in the intake sensor, but next what we're going to do is pull out the air filter. This thing's friggin' huge. Wow. If this thing doesn't make some sound, I will be surprised. More plastic. And the cool thing is about this is we were doing a little bit of reading off camera, and apparently these are not cleanable. This is just a dry filter. I didn't want the oil filter, and so these are just replaceable. So when this thing's time to go, we'll just toss a brand new one in there. Oh, it fits wonderful. And we'll grab this. Definitely gonna need the extension if you want to use a ratchet for this, but they've also got flatheads on them. So if the flathead's what you want to use, you may. Definitely not expert installers, and we're definitely not sponsored by these guys. So this is as realistic as it's gonna get.
Me. For once, I'm actually doing something.
I couldn't figure it out, but hey, George can. So I guess the little gasket here does fit in. Look at George working his magic with them fingers. Yeah, right in the groove there.
Definitely needs to be cut.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Rather it be too long than too short. Give that a cut. Pop the cover on. Using those screws. Good to go. the outro. Here we go. I'm Isaac.
I'm George.
I'm Tristan.
This has been an intake install of the S&B Intake on a 2019 Ram 1500 with a non-etorque 5.7 Hemi. Thank you guys for tagging along with us on the unboxing and the install of it. You can pretty much do this on your own. You don't have to have it professionally installed. We're not professionals. It's
Not at all.
super easy. The instructions are online. You scan the QR code. Easy.
All right, so that does it for us for tonight. We are the SLOPAR Boys. We'll catch you next time.
Oh, hey, real quick, by the way, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.